case, and I put tape on here, and that was just to hold the wall in place so that you can get your spatula in and make the epoxy run at a 45. Helps you build it quicker. And when you take it off 24 hours or the next morning, it's like that, see, which is lovely. As you can see, it built it up nicely. And I used a little metal piece here on this one and laid it up like this here. I don't know where the metal piece is. This bit of piece like this. Get this fur off. Like that, and then just filled it in. And you know, once you file it just a little, but you know, you put a metal underneath this when you're filing. You don't want to ruin the wood underneath as well, so. See, look at how that nicely that's coming up. Now we won't use a harsh file on that, we use a very light one. Can you see that? There we go. And there you go, look at how it's coming up. Nice and lightly. Bit more in a while and it'll be done. I have all my needle files here, I'm looking through them. This one needs a little bit of a larger file, so I'll take a little bit larger one. Let's get this edge off first. And we'll see where we go from there, but it's looking good. That's just with a quick little file here now. You get a gist of what I'm up to. I did this in apprenticeship for 6 months filing, and it stays with you forever. I have a brush here somewhere. Of course, at the moment I can't see. I got another one up here, I just use that. Try to keep your surfaces clean so you can see what you're doing. Yeah, I did 6 months of filing in the apprenticeship when I went to Germany from Ireland. So there you go, I'm going to clean that up nicely. And you know, we're going to have a lovely face to recreate this clock in. So that's what I'm going to do for a while, and then I'll show you the results. Yeah, so I've been sanding about an hour, maybe 2, and just show you the result here. She's coming along nicely. Now I've used wet and dry sandpaper, a little rougher and then really fine one. So now, I mean, it's not polished yet or anything, but when you paint it and polish it, you get this effect, see? I may try to find some kind of a wood filler that stains instead of trying to paint this. So we'll just see how that goes, maybe not on this clock, but the next clock. Got to try new things. It's going to look very nice because this corner was ripped and this was bulging here. So I'm kind of happy with that. I've done the fine, wet and dry, and now I'm just going to leave it for a while. Powder in France, it's like an antique powder, and you put it in solvent and it becomes this beautiful kind of a bronze look. So because these didn't polish up and they're showing silver, basically the bronze look is kind of just coated. So I thought I'd bring it back to kind of like more of a goldy look like the clock was. That's quite nice. So just a bit of powder and a bit of solvent, and there are tubes you can buy in some of the stores too that does antiquing frames and that, and it would work on this as well. That looks really nice. Huh? Isn't that pretty? see how it dries. But it's better looking than it was. Huh? That's for sure. I just do the other one as well. Let them dry and we'll see how they turn out. I haven't used this actually like this before, but it's always good to test new methods. Look at the old one. How's that going to stand out on the clock? Isn't that brilliant? Yeah. So I'm in the repair shed and I was using the gold powder, which I found in France, and it's just a powder that you put in with a little bit of white spirits and just beautiful coatings. I haven't used it before, but I hope it'll dry and give me this real great gold effect that I need. But I've done a couple of things here and I'll show you them. And we'll just move the camera a little bit there. And there you go. Now, I've done this one here. This one here, just the edging around it, because it needed, it was really tarnished. And I did this one as well, just on the edging, our clock we're doing. And I've done our fittings, because some of them wouldn't come back to what I wanted them to. So I've decided I'd do the fittings. I'm going to leave them dry. I hope that this liquid stuff works and that we'll be onto something. Yeah, so when you closed the door it didn't really latch, so I took it off quickly again because I'd like trying to get everything really dead right. And what happened was it would just close, but this little indentation here wasn't enough, so it wouldn't clip closed. And now it's stopped there, it's doing it again. There it is. And what I did was basically just put it down in here on the wooden block here and take a little screwdriver and then tap this with a hammer so the indentation came a little larger. There, like that. You can even most likely press it a bit and it'll do it. And that way it'll clip closed. Just lightly. Just lightly. There you can hear it. Listen. So that's what I was looking for. Now just screw this back on. So I'm doing all the small little details now that it's actually running. My clock, the Mantel clock really. And what we're trying to do is just get these couple of edges that are filled here matching in now. You know, I got blackish brown, so we're going to do the same as the last clock. And I think it could go a little more brown. I don't know whether it needs a wipe or what does it need. I might put a tinge of orange in there. See if that helps it. I don't know whether it will. It's going to be only a little smidgen. What? It's gone more kind of khaki brown here, but it looks okay. It's a hard one. It's not covering the white there. See it? It's very close in the corner here, actually. If I look at that corner, I can hardly notice it. I like that. Okay. Ooh, too much, see? And you got that. What you do is just wipe it off and do it again. Don't panic. That's very close. I don't know if you can see me painting with my head in the way or whatever. I'm just doing that corner there. Now, as far as I'm concerned, that's really close. I see a bit of green here, which it's okay, but it is bothersome because it shows there was a crack there once, see. Do you go more and more black, or? Ooh. You know, then when I put the kind of red stuff on, it doesn't really always work. I think I'm gonna have to leave that dry and see how it turns out. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. What do you think? Leave it dry. I'm beginning to like the blackish side more than this side here. So I'm gonna try and do that a little more here. I want it to look like a bit of a grain thing, see? Oh, when I put that orange in, I'm just making it worse. Although it does give it some look. You know? I think we'll leave it like that for a little while. I'll just check if there's any more marks to touch up. But I'm happy with that. I've got to do the center here, Willie. We nearly forgot this. Now this top part where the sun didn't get it is black. And then it goes to the, the brown, red, black piece in the middle here. There's a pattern there which is going to have to be redone a bit. Now if I could just get that to flare out just a little bit with the orangish. Less. Better than a crack, I suppose. I think that might do it. There's down here is definitely showing the filler still. Now, sometimes your finger does better than you think. It just blends it in nicely. I think I can live with that. Let's see if there's any more marks. I don't think so. That clock's in good shape. So let's just leave it like this and let it dry. So that's the Mantel clock now. I'm calling it the Mantel clock. And we're in, of course, the repair shed. Yeah, so I'm just putting on the face clock here with some 4 screws. The facial part. There we go, it's going in nice and easy. Well, maybe I said it too early. Four nice little brass screws. My electric screwdriver wouldn't fit in either, so slots are so small. That's quite nice. It closes. It has not a great latch, but it closes. It's fine. And then the hands go on, which is the next part. Just finishing up this little, putting the pin in. Right. So we have the pin in, and we'll take her to the half. One down, and then up to the 3. Very nice. All I need to do is find the pendulum for it. Some way of getting it to tick-tock. That most likely tomorrow. Yeah, so I've got the face back on and the chime bar on so that it chimes again. And it's closing nicely. It's got a lovely finish to it. I don't have the pendulum yet. There was a pendulum missing on this. It was actually given to me. And so I have to find a pendulum for it. I think they may have found one, the person that had it. But I've cleaned up the sides here. Needs a little polishing in that, and I might need to scratch some of the lines out a little bit, but it's very close. And I'm going to call it a night because it's getting late. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I've got it good and solid there, good and solid up here. And I put a little wire through here so it clips into the top of the clock, and we'll see how it works. Makeshift. There's a little thread for the screw for up and down the weight. Let's see if she works. Yeah, so I have the spring back in. It's in the little clip here, as you can see, and we'll just give her a little. And the nut is swinging underneath the clock at the moment. I just need a little bit to slow it down a little bit more. It was going too fast, and we'll see what happens. I might get the part for later on, in another clock or another sail, and we'll put a pendulum in here somehow. So this is for the meantime. It's a nice clock. That looks pretty good. Just see if it keeps ticking. It can tick for a while because you pushed it, and then it can cut out, and that means it's just not in balance yet. And you just have to bend the rods a little, work out the fine tuning. Yeah, I've set it to 20 to 4. It's a little bit late. It's just between there, about there on my watch. And we'll see how she's running time-wise. And I've got small touches to do up here in the front, but nearly finished, nearly there, nearly at the end line. So this clock is running a little bit fast, but it's completed, except it needs actually a pendulum. I have a clothes hanger with a bolt on with a nut on the end, making this work at the moment. So it runs just a little fast, but we'll get that. But in all intents and purposes, all this repair in the front is done, and it looks lovely. This is a recap of what we've done. So we stripped off all the inners and all that and all the fittings, and I've re-golded with that powder with urethane, which turned out absolutely fabulous on the feet and on the latches on the side here, which you can see here a little bit, but also here on the footings. So that's really lovely. I've had to clean up the damage on the facial quite a bit. Where there was peeling of the wood, and the laminate wood was coming off. We've had to glue that together and clamp it and all that. And this was dull, and I got it shined up, and I'm very pleased with that. And then we had trouble with the actual running, the cleaning of the mechanism, which I'll show you now. There's the mechanism running away. I just have a little bit of green tape on the bottom of the the hammer to deaden the sound a bit. It's a bit loud inside the kitchen when I'm resetting it. Its timing is about a minute off, and that's just by putting the screw underneath here, either up, goes faster, down a little slower, just by a little half turn. So that's that. There's the homemade pendulum, which is working nicely. Been working for quite about a week now, so I'm happy with that. And we had trouble with the weights. I'll just show you there. And there are the weights down there. Just 2 nuts, which seems to work the best, so I've left it. I'll later on put it on a scale and see if I can get some kind of a pendulum that's the same weight. But it doesn't really matter long if it's running and the mechanics are there. And there's the sprocket wheel. Let's go in on it. There you go. Isn't that lovely? Tick tock. Took a while to get it right in the center. And I'm just going to show you, if you get this arm ticking on its own, whoop, I got to go back a bit there. If you get this arm ticking on its own, as you can see, it hits both sides as they're just coming to an end. So it's kind of center. You know when you got it right because of that. Look the way it touches both sides of the bent wire coming down off the clock. Now that'll run without the pendulum really fast, but the pendulum keeps it at a pace. So that's kind of the trick, really. And of course, you know, the hammer is bent here until it fits right onto the spring, and it gives a lovely sound then. So, and there we go. That's this clock finished. And that's the end of this clock. So I'm glad you joined me in the repair shed. There's many more things to come. Who knows what I'll be fixing next week, but just keep on saving these old relics.